One. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Above the Line live stream on a Thursday night. It's your favorite crew talking about NASCAR. Myself, Ben, Dom, and a mysterious figure for Halloween joining us for our spooky show before Martinsville, where the real fun begins, seeing who makes it into the championship for all three NASCAR National Series. I'm Taylor. I'm your local, I guess, diecast dealer. I hate this so much. And then we got Ben. Ben, do you want to explain your costume?
Yes, I am the benched hockey player. I am the hockey player that now sits on the bench and opens the door for the rest of the game because I pissed off the coach.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Dom?
I think mine's pretty self-explanatory.
It's pretty self-explanatory. It's for the gloves.
Yes, football player.
From Michigan State.
Yeah, of course.
And then I don't know who this guy is. He just walked in. He looked like he was pretty lonely, so I just let him in. He joined us.
That's okay. Yeah. We'll get to that later. I promise we will. Yeah, but that's all right. That's okay. But good to see you all in the chat. I know it's a spooky Halloween night. I know a lot of y'all are probably, either whether you're out trick-or-treating, whether you're out trick-or-treating with your kids, with your family, however you spend Halloween. We are appreciative that you spend some of it with us. By the way, Adam Lucas sent us a photo. He unfortunately cannot be here. He is on Halloween duties, but he is dressed up as a unicorn. And then, of course, Teddy is dressed up as a referee. So we're all joining us. A referee. There we go. A referee. So we are all involved in the festivities. But let's jump right into this show. Good to see you all. Dressed up as a keyboard warrior. That's a good one.
Really good.
That's a good one.
Really good.
Adam, good to see you in the chat. Let's go to our point situation. Obviously, we all know that Adam has clinched the ATYL champion.
I won.
Nevertheless,
I finally won one.
We continue to look at the point standings just to see how far off we are. But yeah, Adam's got it this year.
Has he mathematically clinched?
He has, mathematically. I cannot make that up in 2 races.
So he's rigged the points, and then someone needs to redo the points next year. It's the moral story.
Yeah, moral of the story. Adam cheated, just kidding. But Ben, there's still a chance for you to get in second.
Oh, I have to, because if I don't, then I actually probably have to get that tattoo that we never discussed.
That is true. We need to figure that out.
This is very true.
This is very true. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get it when I come down next month.
Maybe.
Foreshadowing, kids.
Foreshadowing. You never know. We might see some content of the offseason of Ben getting a tattoo that is, a year overdue? I would
do it. I'll do a YouTube video where I get a tattoo.
YouTube video. Ben gets tattoo. I can see the thumbnail now.
But name it Colonel Sanders gets tattoo. So
actually, that would get a lot of clicks. Yeah. So also, by the way, happy late birthday. Good to see that you. Hopefully, you're able to celebrate that. But good to see you in the chat with us. Let's get to it. Ooh, there we go. All right. With Homestead, here's what we got. So the point situation, Tyler Reddick winning the race, locked into the championship 4 with Christopher Bell and William Byron just above that cutoff line. William Byron in a little bit of a trickier situation, +7, -7. Kyle Larson, pretty crazy. Hamlin -18. And then Ryan Blaney and Elliott in must-win situations going into Martinsville. But with the Homestead race, I mean, this has already been talked about to death, but does anyone want to get on the soapbox and talk about how great this race was, or does anyone want to disagree? Anyone? No?
I mean, I thought the race was really good. I was personally watching F1 because Ferrari had a chance to win, and, that comes around like the eclipse. So I was at B-Dubs watching the finish to both races. They both finished like at the same time. So I was going back and forth screen to screen. So I got to say, though, it was sweet to see that the inside line was actually worth something in this race. And the fact that there were multiple lanes, it starts to make you think of Atlanta when it started to age. It's like, man, they're just looking for fastest way around, plain and simple. And it could be anywhere in the corners. So that was awesome. And I'm heartbroken for Blaney. I was mad at first for the decision he made. But in hindsight, you can only make your car so wide, and he had to make a very split-second decision on where to put his car, and it seems like it's universally accepted that what Reddick did was superhuman, and that just shows how good of a driver he is and how worthy he is of being in the Champ 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will
But I'm
say
just a football player, so what do I know?
yeah, that's okay. I think that was great analysis from a football player, though. I mean,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome. It was very disappointing to see Blaney seem to have it, and then just in those last 2 corners let it slip. But Tyler Reddick is so good at these types of tracks where you can just ride the wall, and it's what he does best in these race cars, and he was able to get it done. I think awesome to see the regular season champ make it to the championship 4. Sure, I think his playoffs have been pretty rough and barely made it into the round of 8, but this format, you never stop fighting. And here's the perfect example of that. Same thing with Joey Logano, just going back to that for a little second, never stop fighting because you never know what'll happen. But for Tyler Reddick, he will fight for a championship at Phoenix, which off the track with that, all the news going on there could be interesting. So we shall see.
I can't drink through the helmet, so I have to take
That's
the
okay.
supplement.
Okay. Water break. It's fine. It's fine. Take 5. You're good.
You don't have one of like the sideline people that holds the Gatorade bottles up and squirts it at
No,
you?
I'm a
Oh,
fancy player. I drink sparkling ice.
We love that. Love that. Yeah. Adam has a good point in the chat too. Hendrick Motorsports could get shut out of the championship 4. We'll talk about that when we preview Martinsville, looking at the odds, because there is a really crazy opportunity for that to happen. Could be crazy. We thought all 4 would be getting to the championship 4. And obviously didn't happen after the round of 8 with a disqualification. And now they're in a tough position points wise. So
I'm gonna make the guy next to me laugh. I know he doesn't want me to, but I'm going. It's the perfect way to describe Martinsville is hell in a cell. That is exactly how this race is going to play out.
Good reference. I like it. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be a fun one. It'll be good. Other thing to mention with Homestead before we move on, Connor Jones, by the way, the on-track incident with Matt Mills. Matt Mills was in the hospital for a day or 2 due to the incident. Some people call it a bump and run. Some people say Connor Jones ran through him. Doesn't matter. A driver was injured in that with the ref racing. Connor Jones has been suspended for a race. So he will be out at Martinsville, but will be able to return for Phoenix. But I mean, that's what had to happen. Somebody needed to put their foot down. Connor Jones has been racing rough every time he's in the truck. It's unacceptable behavior. So if the team's not going to step in, my opinion is NASCAR finally did. And hopefully this teaches him something. But who knows?
He's made 13 starts in the truck series and has made 3 trips to the hauler.
Yeah.
I mean,
good.
It's embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah.
Throwback to when I interviewed Ryan Vargas in 2023 at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
And he gestured to a certain truck with Connor Jones in it and called him Dippin' Dots. And I'll never forget that.
We love Ryan Vargas. Yeah. I mean, my stance is I get it. You have an opportunity to be in the truck, whether it was, due to family connections, opportunity, whatever it may be. But you're ultimately, if you want to race in that series, you have to earn the respect of the people around you, or else you're not going to get it back. And plain and simple, you have to learn at some point. Hopefully he takes this as a learning lesson and is able to grow from this.
Yeah.
Hopefully he takes it seriously is my thought process. I have more I could say, but I'm mad about it.
He's suspended in Cars Tour too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been in Hot Wire in the Cars Tour too, way back in a couple of years ago as well. He never really got into too much hot stuff in ARCA. I know he's ran some stuff for Venturini, but at Cars Tour stuff, he was pretty renowned for getting in trouble for. Not like the trouble isn't like he was causing trouble. So
yeah. My thing is if you cannot be safe or control your temper in the car, truck, whatever it is, and it's impacting the people around you, maybe you should not be in the field. And at some point, somebody needs to step in and say, you are a safety hazard to everyone else around you. Matt Mills is lucky he didn't get hurt worse. It wasn't worse.
Incredibly, yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to try to control my temper here because that stuff pisses me off. But we're going to move on.
Can I say something about the race?
Yes, go for it.
I want to note, it was really cool for NBC to show that last lap timing and scoring, like the lap times.
Yes.
Because it just showed how Reddick, full tilt, sent it in there. And I thought that was really cool for them to do. They brought up the full last lap times and he's a full almost second faster than second place. So I thought that was a really cool thing that they did where no, he was the fastest car on this lap. And that was pretty sick of them. So
got everything out of that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the perfect race. And I think Jeff Gluck said it too of these races are the reasons why the playoffs are the playoffs. So,
Yeah, because if that race, which it's going to be next year, wasn't in the playoffs, I don't think it would have been as good. And this is just the combination of storylines, intensity, fighting for those spots that you need to get into the championship for. The hope is that with the race being so early in the year next year, that means Homestead's getting some renovations and hopefully it can return as the championship race in 2026 or a future year. That's at least my hope. But I think it totally deserves to be the championship race. It's just a matter of getting butts and seats, and that seems to be the consistent problem. So hopefully NASCAR takes some time to think about that and try to figure out how can we market this race differently, this area differently, so people can come out. But overall, a solid race this weekend altogether. I mean, the Cup Series race was a banger. Probably for me, race of the year. I don't know if that's for you guys the same thing, but when I look back at my rankings for this year, like that was the highest I had ranked them. I write mine all on a chart.
On a chart.
I have a chart for all my
chart girl,
race
Taylor
rankings.
Kitchen, big diecast dealer.
Big diecast.
I'd say it's up there. I still Bristol Spring was so good.
Yeah,
it was so good. Yeah,
so good because of how goofy it was.
It
But
was
those are
dumb.
like good is an arbitrary term of like that was a good goofy, but this was awesome like good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean it was tough racing.
It wasn't an Indianapolis tire problem.
Yeah.
It was a fun tire problem.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I think, by the way, our last show of the year, or the regular show of the year that we'll do on November 14th, we're going to be dishing out superlatives, by the way, on that show. It'll be a long show. It'll be a recap show. It'll be just an all-together show. We also have some pretty crazy announcements on that show.
Do I get to wear my suit again?
Yes. We're all going to dress up fancy. It'll be fun. Dressing up almost like 2 weeks in a row, it feels like. I mean, we have a week in between that. But yeah, we'll be giving out superlatives that show. Suits, ties, whatever. We'll be fancy.
That's a good reference.
This show is going to be filled with references. I can already feel it because it already has been. All right.
Hannibal Buress.
I love that. Sorry, Taylor. We're off the rails.
You're good. This
Coach
show,
is pissed at
it's
me.
spooky. We're supposed to be off the rails. That's okay.
Coach is pissed at me, though. I'm sitting at the end of the bench.
Oh,
Put the helmet
no.
back on.
Got to get your head in the game, you guys. Get your head in the game.
He is. I'm benched.
Let's move on. Keep your eye on the prize, Ben. Eye on the prize. Let's talk about some NASCAR news right now. So news that came out today, I believe this was today, or maybe yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Booty Barker will not be returning as crew chief for the number 23 for Bubba Wallace next year. He'll be moving on to a different role at 2311 Racing in a competition side of the sport or a competition side of the team. Moving in for 2025 is Charles Danicky, I believe. I'm saying that right. I hope so. I'm not. I apologize.
You're in the ballpark.
Yeah, I looked up how to pronounce it. I should be correct. But that said, he's currently the crew chief for the number 19 at MHR, working with Christian Eckes. And over the past 2 seasons, they racked up about 7 wins and 23 top 5s. I mean, they've been incredibly consistent. My question to you all, and I'm assuming I know the answer to this, but if you want to elaborate, please do. How do you feel about this change? And do you feel this is the right call for 2311 to go a different route for that 23 car? I'll start with Dom.
I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, try something different, maybe see if that helps. But I don't know if it will. It's hard to say because I don't know how much of it is Eckes being a really good driver or
right.
Danicky, I think we said, being a really good crew chief. And plus, I mean, strategy for trucks is way different than Cup. But hey, if you are really good at rallying the troops and really good with your race strategy, it's worth giving him a shot. But I just don't know if that's going to be the say all be all for that team.
Yeah, Ben, agree, disagree?
Before I get into that, I want to take a stand here for a moment, if that's okay.
Take a stand.
And I'm going to say a word, so throw $1 in the swear jar. I see a lot of shit given towards Booty Barker, and some of it sure is deserved on Twitter and on just criticisms. But also, we need to praise and respect Booty Barker for who he is. Some of you don't remember him crew chiefing Max Pappas to missing the Daytona 500 in the Germain 13 because Kirk Shelmerdine beat him to the line in the duels. Like, some of you don't remember the dues he's paid to this sport, and that's big. And I said it when they hired Booty to be Bubba's crew chief. I was like, this is going to be a huge moment for him and a new lease on life, and it has been. and just seeing the joy on Booty's face for their 2 wins has been awesome.
Yeah.
I've been a big Booty Barker fan forever, really. So congratulations to him, and I'm really happy for him that he kind of got this last little moment in his career to be able to have jubilation, so you could say. As for the current state of the 23 car, I definitely think they have grown stagnant this year. So I think this could be a big step in the right direction. We'll see. Like Dom said, how much of this is the 19 car or the 19 truck and Iki's being fast, and how much of this is the crew chief behind it. So we'll see. I think it's a good hire. I definitely like, it's kind of like a, how do I word this? It's not like a stereotypical hire of like, they just didn't get another guy. Like, I felt this way with Steve Addington, where Steve Addington just bounced from team to team to team, and he did all right, but he just kind of floated. Like they're going like down in the prospect pool, so to speak. So really think it's gonna be cool for him to get that opportunity, and I'm excited to see what they can do together. I do think it could help Bubba in a long way, kind of getting a new guy behind the pit box, so to speak. So
Yeah, sometimes you just need somebody to bring in a different perspective. Sometimes you have to bring in somebody different. I think, again, I respect Booty 100%. Like, he's done an excellent job with the team. I think, sure, like any crew chief, you're going to have some missed calls or just some misses, whatever. But I mean, that's part of the game. And then if the pairing isn't working between driver and crew chief, or if you feel like the performance isn't there, it's time to bring somebody else in and see if it works until you find that right combination. So I respect everything that he's been able to do, and I wish him the best in his new role at 2311 Racing on the competition side of things. And I had a car fall, and that sucks. That's okay. That car is no longer for sale. But I am I'm looking forward to
I will say
seeing what's
it's
next.
good. I'm glad that they didn't do a crew chief swap.
Yes.
yeah, they gave him this time.
That would have, because I mean Reddick and his crew chief are working together well. I mean, you can see that.
Yeah.
So
That's definitely one of those, they didn't want to break up that relationship, because Billy
Yeah.
Scott's really like,
Billy
I mean,
Scott's
Billy Scott's the reason they won at Homestead. Like,
yeah, strategy call.
which is, that's still just like, he literally threw, it was, again, it's like the Washington football team, not the Commanders, throwing that Hail Mary the same day. Like, you can't believe that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's the news there with the 23 car for next year. No, we will not be talking about any of the lawsuit stuff on the show right now. We are waiting again. Before the comments roll in.
You just asked.
Well, before the comments roll in, because this is what always tends to happen, I just want to say right now, we are going to not talk about any of that.
We have to talk to our lawyers first.
We have to talk to our lawyers first. We have to get legal counsel on what we can and cannot say. So just be on the lookout for that, guys. All right. Next up.
What car fell?
What's off the market?
It was Dale. It was Dale.
Not Dale. Oh, that's a good one to keep, though.
I'm taking this one off the market, you guys. Not for sale anymore. Sorry, but I do have. If you guys want to know the collection here, we got an Eric Jones Darlington win right here.
Oh shoot.
Can I interest you in a William Byron Daytona 500? Perhaps I'm gonna upcharge you guys by that with 5 times the amount. We got a Phoenix. This is the race 1 side, by the way. They're the premium diecast that are for sale on the market here. And then this is just the fun diecast side that, Cole Custer's Andes can't go wrong with that diecast.
Oh, that's what that is. I could tell what that was.
Yeah. So just saying, that's all I got for that. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some truck series news. Something interesting here. Obviously, Brett Holmes announcing the closure of his team. Pretty quick turnaround. Just announced one day on Facebook, like, hey, we're shutting down. Thanks for everything. But, we'll look for opportunities in 2025, but we will no longer be fielding entries for the rest of this year. And
I've had dates like that.
Yeah, man. Damn, that sucks.
She's like, hey, we're done. We're shutting down the team. And I'm like, yep, sure. Yeah, I get it.
Feel that. So Ben, I guess, has some experience in this. A little devastating, just a little confusing.
Yeah.
With that said, though, somebody did purchase the assets to the team. Heidinger Racing. Them
Is
from.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I believe so.
I thought it was Hettinger.
Hettinger. Okay, Hettinger
I could
Racing.
be totally wrong on that. I want to know.
I'm gonna say the way you said it. Hettinger Racing. They have bought the assets for the team. You know them for their late model program. They've done some ARCA stuff. But Brett Moffitt is going to be their driver in the newly branded number 4 truck for the rest of this year.
Oh shoot! I didn't realize Brett was driving.
Yeah, Brett Moffitt. Brett Moffitt's driving it.
Truck champion.
The long-term plan for this team is to act as a stepping stone from their late model program all the way up to their truck series program. So just getting some more young drivers opportunities and giving them a kind of a stepping stone, because I feel like that's been missing for the past few years with these programs from late models all the way up to truck, even to Xfinity. I know Rackley War has a really good late model program to truck program already established. So seeing more of those kind of rolling in. The plan for next year fully, though, is to run a part-time schedule in 2025 in the truck series. So there's that news. But yet again, just kind of I think this is the second truck team this year that has just totally dropped out, because we had Faction 46 that dropped out way early this year, and that was bought out or just everything changed over. And now we have this towards the later half of the year. So wishing Brett Holmes the best, and we're going to see Brett Moffitt in the truck for the last 2 races. I don't know if we have any thoughts on this.
This story had me thinking, and I looked through, and this number might be wrong. It might be 13, but I think it's 11. 11 former truck teams that won the championship are no longer in business.
Wow.
Wait. Did Holmes win a truck championship?
No, I'm just saying, like,
just in general.
Because like then that had me think about GMS. You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
That's fair.
So I went through and was like, man, GMS is gone, KBM is gone. Hattori Racing is like hanging on by a thread right now.
Yeah,
they're pretty much gone.
I mean, Landon Lewis is in the truck this weekend for them, but
so yeah, Bill Davis Racing. It's just you can just keep naming them.
Mm-hmm.
Turner Motorsports is another one.
And I mean, it makes you question, like, I mean, obviously sometimes the truck series isn't the most financially sound. Sometimes teams get bought out for whether it's part of a development program, whether it's, you know, you have people that are like, I have the money to race for 2 years, but I don't know the plan after that. And then we leave. It's kind of a crapshoot sometimes in the truck series, but you can make good teams in that series and make teams that last for a bit or are staple teams. It's just right now it's so uncharted, I guess.
I mean, another huge example is, you know, the purse for the Cup race this weekend is 8.9 million, and the purse for the truck race is 670,000.
Right.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
There's such a huge gap.
Yeah.
I know that I think I can talk about this because statute of limitations is up. I spoke to someone in 2023 that was offered the opportunity to drive for Tricon at $800,000 for one race, and that was a deal. Or like a section of races, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but that was like a deal offer, and like most guys are like having to pay at least 1.2 million for a back marker truck, and Tricon was offering this kid a deal. So, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, for one race for a good truck, you're paying. If you are in a good truck for one race, you're paying anywhere around like $100K for that one race for like a primary.
Yeah.
I mean, and you add that up during the season, and that's kind of insane. But again, that is for like an A+ top tier truck. You could typically run a truck for like one race around like 60K, something like that, 50K, if you really wanted to push it to the lower limit. But I mean, these teams are spending a lot of money to go out on the track with right now, not shaky return on investment, but it's tough right now to kind of maintain for these smaller teams. So hockey, baseball.
No, sorry. I kicked something in the office, and I like thought I was going to break something. So that's what it was. I really apologize when I thought I was going to break something.
I was like, my thought process was it has to be sport related. But
no, okay. I had like.
I'm glad you didn't break anything.
I have a speaker and a hard drive over on the far side of the desk, and it looked like the hard drive was starting to fall, and I got really panicked. So
it's okay. Deep breaths, fine dining and breathing. Be good.
So.
Is
Taylor the woman from Dr. Sleep? What is Dr. Sleep?
I don't know. At this point, I have gotten several different answers to what people think I am.
I thought she was Carmen Sandiego. So.
And that probably would have been the best thing for me to say. Instead, I sell die casts. You know, I've got all the die cast. I spent like a stupid amount of time trying to get these cars onto this jacket. I think this was a flop of a Halloween, you guys, on my end. I'm not
nah, this is a dub.
This is a small dub. I'm gonna give myself a C-, kind of right in the middle.
I can't tell what's bigger, my head or the size of this dub.
That looked like it could have been an A. It's more of a triangle, but
yeah. Thanks. Let's see. Any other silly season news that we want to talk about? One small thing: Brendan Poole returning to Alpha Prime next year, full time.
Yeah, Brendan Poole. A+. It was an A+.
A+, we got it.
It wasn't just an A. That was an A+.
That was an A+. I appreciate that.
A+. Yeah. No, Brendan Poole's back, and I'm very happy about that. I think that's
for sure.
That's what he needs, but that's also what that team needs is stability.
Yeah. I mean, you talked to him earlier this year too. Like you did a whole sit down interview with him in May. Was that?
Yeah. I met him and his lovely wife, whose name I'm blanking on, and I'm so Lindsay. Lovely people, number one. Very genuinely great people. But also, like, I talked to him about just how he felt about being in Alpha Prime, and he said he's like, this group of guys feels like home and feels like family, and you could tell he's like to be there. And I know they're still a younger team and they haven't really had consistency in driver lineups, but I think that team's on a building block, and I think he is a block that can be built upon as well. He's right now their only returning driver. Ryan Ellis is officially moving on to DGM in the 92, but he's at least moving to DGM, which is good for him. But very happy for Poole to stick around at Alpha Prime. I think that's a team that can build with him, and you can tell they're having a fun time over there. And a lot of those guys are very active on Twitter, and you can tell they're having fun with each other. So I think it's a good sign and good camaraderie. I'm really excited to see what they can do in year 2.
I think it's a testament to when you have the right drivers and the right just crew around you, like a team can be very successful and they all gel together really well. I mean, I haven't been in the shop like you have been, but like from the track and just seeing them and how they all like gel together at the track, like the team makes sense. The vibes make sense, and they're getting better and better results. They're getting more consistent. I mean, especially you've seen them this year, the heartbreak that they've had at these restrictor plate type tracks, or I should say super speedway tracks. They've been devastatingly close to wins, but to say that they are always in the fight for wins at those, as opposed to just like, I feel like missing the mark, has been really impressive. So I think overall the results have been getting better, and I'm excited to see with Brennan Poole returning to the team next year what they can continue building on. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, really awesome.
I think they're having fun.
They are.
Yeah.
And it's really hard in racing. I think there's a lot of lows and very few highs, and it's hard to maintain the fun of racing, especially the business side of it. It's stressful, and right now money's tight for a lot of these teams. But when you can see a team having fun, like the way Alpha Prime is, it's refreshing. I would say their team a little bit for me has been refreshing to see operate. So, all good things there. Any other pieces of news that we want to talk about before we move on to Martinsville? Anything I might have missed from the audience or from the gentleman here?
Sorry, I've been a busy this week. Grammar. I'm pulling up TobyChristie.com to double check, make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, Miles Stanley. The new crew chief for the Wood Brothers.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's big news there. It was not expected. Literally, because when we were thinking about Josh Berry moving over to the 21, we were all like, oh, like Ronnie Childress can go over there. But then they're like, nah, like we're not going to do that. And I was like, oh, but why? Because then they were going to keep probably the other crew chief. And then all of a sudden that's not happening.
I have frozen. Sorry.
So you're frozen? Oh, don't freeze. Oh,
come on, come back.
Oh, come back.
There he goes. There it goes.
You got it. Ben, you want to fill us in?
On Miles Stanley?
Yeah. Just go for it.
I was just saying, like, hey, he got signed this week, so I don't know much about Miles Stanley. I know he was he's a Penske guy. He's been part of the Penske operation for a while. So cool for him to finally get the promotion, so to speak, at the end of the day. Very excited for him to get his opportunity. I'm interested to see what Wood Brothers does for 25. I think it could definitely be a growing year for them, but I also think they could also still stagnate and kind of maybe even, I don't know if you can say regress, because I don't know how much farther they could regress at this point. So,
right.
They made the playoffs this year. They had a great season.
Okay. The Washington Capitals made the playoffs in the National Hockey League last season and got swept by the Rangers. So I don't know if I quantify that as a great season, but nonetheless, good for them and good for Harrison Burton and the Wood Brothers in a lot of ways. I honestly forgot they made the playoffs. I'm not going to lie about it.
Gotta tell you, man. And like, they're going to look back, man. What a great 16th in points. That had to be a hell of a year for Harrison Burton. Top 5s, top 10s, laps led, had a victory. I mean, that's just a great year for the Wood Brothers. I mean, 16th in points. I mean, they were projected to finish 31st. So for them to have a 16th in points season, man, just phenomenal. It really just shocked the nation with a complete season of good results. I mean, it had to have been to get 16th in points.
Oof.
And now you know what's wrong with the system.
I'm going to pronounce your last name Hansen because I don't want to butcher your first name. I'm going to think Torin. I'm not hating on the Caps. I'm just saying they probably shouldn't have been there either way. No offense, of course.
Yeah.
And you also beat my Flyers like twice already this season. So you watch it,
Well,
bro.
the Caps catching strays.
But yeah, good. I think it'll be a good signing. Like they've got to try something, and like doing a full overhaul I'm fine with in a lot of ways. So
Yeah, I will say, like, I hope Jeremy Bullins lands on his feet somewhere. Like, that's
I'm
what.
sure he will.
Oh yeah. Also, I just thought about this. Did we talk last week about the number 8 returning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't here. Sorry.
Oh, Ben.
Sorry.
Yeah, you missed it. We all had our bud cards that we
Mine's in the
showed.
mail. So
I need to get one. Yeah, see? There we go. Boom.
there's one over at the there's like a peddler's mall here in the city, and they had one for $65 that was like the 04 bud.
Hey, are they taking my business?
No.
Okay.
They smell horrible, and you probably smell a lot better than this
Thank
peddler's
you.
mall.
I appreciate that.
But I'm going to try and pick it up too at some point, maybe this weekend. Sorry, I just wasn't sure because I was looking through the short track news because I also was going to mention Irwindale Speedway is closing apparently.
That's besides Jeremy Bullins out of the 21 car for 2025 and moving in another crew chief. Yeah, Irwindale Speed, that's a big deal. I feel like they announced that they're closing out every single year, but this feels permanent. There's been building plans leaked of what's going to go in there, and just such a shame to the western part of the country and their racing scene. Like, I mean, it's an iconic track. I know its writing's been on the wall a little bit here and there, but
yeah, if you've like watched races, there's an industrial plant out back of it, so it's not surprising.
Yeah,
I'm just disappointed we lose a monolith of where Rusty Malcolm made his ARCA debut, or his NASCAR debut, I guess you could say. That's a deep cut reference for you kids at home. If you know, you know. So
yeah.
Also, on some happy news, Brayton Laster's running ARCA full time.
Yes,
friend of the pod.
Yeah, we'll have to have him back on during the offseason to preview 2025 news, but excited to see him get a full-time ride. He works so hard to gather sponsors. He's one of the best at bringing his sponsors a good return on investment. Overall, also just a great guy. We love having him on the show. So happy for him with his 2025 news running full-time in the ARCA Menard series. Yeah, just wishing him the best. I'm excited for him. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he sent out the press release and I was like, oh my God, I was so excited for him. So we'll see. All right. It is time to preview Martinsville. We're going to look at our projected top 10. And then I also want to get everyone's predictions on our championship 4 across all 3 series. Just to see. You never know. It's not our winning predictions. It's just our championship 4 predictions.
Do you have the championship? Like, do you have the points for all 3 series? Okay, good.
I will go through the points before we all give our picks, just to preview where we stand this weekend. Yeah, take a water break. Excuse me, an ice break. Yeah.
Well, he's got to drink because he's getting ready to talk for 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, coach is calling me over. I got to go sit in the penalty box. So.
Oh no! But you were on the bench. What happened?
I played the stick out of the net. I played the stick, or I don't know. I'm trying. I played the puck off the bench. Is what I'm trying.
All right. Ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Let's. Hopefully, I did this right. I don't remember what I did.
Okay,
we got it. We're good.
All right. So welcome to Martinsville for what is sure to be a very chaotic race where the stats don't matter because whoever has the sturdiest front bumper is going to win this race.
Amen.
I'm not kidding when I say this. Like almost every category, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possible categories that you can be in. And 5 of them are led by Denny Hamlin. So he is the man at Martinsville. Just reading off his numbers, 2 wins. And remember, this is just the fall race. Stats from just the fall race.
Opposing team scored on the power play. Sorry.
Heck yeah, good job. So he's won twice, back-to-back, 2009, 2010. He leads the way with 11 top 5s, 5 top 10s. He's started on pole position 3 times, 2010, 2013, 2019. These are all categories that he leads. He's led 1,049 laps. That's more than anyone in the field. He's led the most laps 3 different times. That's more than anyone in the field. Has an average start of 7.4, an average finish of 7.3. no DNFs. When it comes to getting a good result, if not winning, Denny Hamlin is the guy.
If he
Yeah.
doesn't choke.
So that's the thing. He won this race last in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. Really good numbers in the races since. But I think back to 2017,
Mm-hmm.
back to 2021,
Mm-hmm.
2022, 2023. A track that he is statistically phenomenal at has become his worst nightmare. So that is one thing to keep in mind, where this could be a race where second place isn't good enough again for Denny Hamlin. So, I mean, the stats scream Denny to win this race, but history is saying this track has his number right now, and he just can't escape the curse. But he is our favorite statistically right now. Joey Logano is second. He's already got his win to get into the championship 4. So a lot like Homestead, I really don't know if he's going to be that much of a contender in this race. More so, they're just hell bent on making the perfect car for Phoenix,
100%.
and they're just bringing a car to Martinsville. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Ben?
No, I was just gonna make a play on you said curse, and I was like, it is Halloween, so it's spooky.
Thank you, good sir.
Doing my job.
We'll be right back.
And fade to break.
But anyways, Joey has one win back in 2018 that got him into the Champ 4 to win the title back in 2018. He's going to do it again. I know you're mad, but he's going to do it again.
Yeah, Rabbit.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s. So him and Denny are tied for most top 10s, 5 each. Joey's got 2 pole positions. This came in an era midway through the Gen 6 era where he was winning poles left and right at Martinsville. But he has 2 poles in the fall, 2015, 2017. He's led 684 laps. So he's run up front for a good while. He's led the most laps twice and has a single-digit average start, 9.1. So Joey has good numbers here, but again, just because he's already locked into Phoenix, the urgency isn't there. They honestly might think it's a good strategy to not make any enemies and just stay out of the way and just be solely focused on Phoenix. That's not really Joey's style. He just wants to go out there and win, and if you're in the way, you're going to get out of the way. But we'll see. We'll see what kind of car that team brings. Kyle Busch is third. Thanks for playing. Has one win. Has one win in 2017, 1 pole in 2018, 9 top 5s, 2 top 10s at a track he's not the greatest at. So that's pretty solid numbers. 540 laps led, has led the most laps twice. He's got the most laps completed in the field, which is kind of surprising between him, Hamlin, and Truex. Kyle leads the way, 9,495 laps completed, and has never DNF'd the fall Martinsville race, nor has Joey or Denny. So good consistency there. And honestly, we're 2 races away from the streak being broken. Who knows if RCR throws everything at this A car to keep his winning streak alive. But he's third on our board statistically. Fourth is Chase Elliott. Won this race back in 2020 to get to the Champ 4, where he did win the title. Has 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, 785 laps led is the real shocker for me for the amount of starts he has to have that many laps led. Again, I feel like part of that would have been his 2020 win, where he was thoroughly dominant in that race. But again, 785 is still a really big number. He's also led the most laps twice. And he has the best average starting position in the field of 6.9.
Nice.
But there it is. But again, I think the name of the game for Chase is consistency. And man, do they need a 2020 effort again in this race.
Yeah.
They want to make the Champ 4. It's really their only hope. They've got to win this race.
Yeah.
Same goes for the defending winner of this race, the defending NASCAR Cup champion, Ryan Blaney. He is 5th on the board, the defending winner 2023, 4 top 5s, 1 top 10. He's got 181 laps led. Most of those came last year. He's got single digit for both, just like Denny Hamlin, 7.7 average start, 8.6 average finish. So, I mean, Blaney's numbers across the board are really good. No DNFs for him as well, which, again, not DNFing at Martinsville isn't impossible because they do like to run them until the motor blows up. They'll bring them out there with no fenders on them. So it's hard to DNF there, but Blaney never has. No one in our top 5 has ever DNF'd in the fall race at Martinsville. But Blaney, I think he's got the stats and the history to win this race. It's going to take a Herculean effort to do it from that 12 team. 6th on the board is car number 6, Brad Keselowski. Has never won the fall race in Martinsville, but does have 7 top 5s, 2 top 10s, started on pole in 2020 and has 303 laps led, no DNFs for Brad Keselowski. Very consistent guy. We'll see what kind of race they have this weekend, but honestly, just because it is playoffs and he's not a playoff contender, I don't see him being the one to do it, but his numbers are very consistent there. Martin Truex Jr. making his final regular season start in Martinsville. So driver 19 dominated this race in 2019.
Yeah.
That is his lone win in the fall in Martinsville. Has 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 2 pole positions, 2026 and last year, 2016, I should say. 2016 and 2023 are his pole position years. He's got 841 laps led, but I believe 400 of those came in 2019.
Yeah.
He's led the most laps that year, but he does have 1 DNF. That's what pushed him down to 7th on the board. 8th is Christopher Bell. I see him being a really big contender in this race for sure. He's only got 4 starts in the fall race at Martinsville. That is why he is 8th on the board. Has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, has a win in 2022 when his back was against the wall. He's done it before. He's led 150 laps. He can absolutely win this race. I would see his odds being way higher than 8th best for sure.
100%.
Guaranteed. Just the lack of starts is what puts him 8th on the board here. That's the ands, ifs, buts about it. Chase Briscoe is 9th in 3 starts. In 3 starts in Martinsville. Very consistent. 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 25 laps led, 9.3 average start. So just, very limited starts, but they're all good ones. And that's all you need to be in the top 10. So that is why Briscoe is 9th on the board. And then Alex Bowman is 10th with a win back in 2021. Has 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and 10 laps led. And that came after he intentionally wrecked the best car in the field because he knew he couldn't pass him on pure speed. But looking at our statistical leaders, and this is where I explain how Denny is so good here. Best average start, Chase Elliott. Best average finish, Denny Hamlin. Most wins, Denny Hamlin. Most poles, Denny Hamlin. Most laps led, Denny Hamlin. Most times leading the most laps, Denny Hamlin. Most laps completed, Kyle Busch. And here is the shocker. Most DNFs, Kyle Larson, 4.
Ooh.
Ooh, with his point situation, could be interesting.
I'm going to pull up because I know everyone's going to wonder where Chris Buescher is.
Yeah, we got
I love this Chris Buescher love. It's so funny to me.
We love Chris Buescher here.
It's just every week we're like, where's Chris Buescher? I want to make one personal statement.
Yes.
This is a bit of a somber note for me. This is we're going Big Ben. I don't know how I feel about that. This is the last ever race that we'll have full blue, number 19 Auto Owners Insurance car. I have a personal affinity and love to this scheme in this car. So Auto Owners, thank you for being a part of the sport and being a part of Martin Truex's career and several milestones. I really appreciate it as a fan. Thank you for the beautiful schemes. And just thank you for that. So, Blue, I hope you ride off in the sunset in one piece and come out on top. So that's it.
Well said.
Well
Very
said.
well said. And got the Southern 500 in 2016.
Never forget.
Won Kansas and Charlotte in 2017.
I watched that scheme win in person for Furniture Row Racing's last ever win in Kentucky in 18.
Yep. That's
yeah.
awesome.
I watched
then
that
Richmond
one.
and Martinsville in 19, and then Darlington 2021.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a damn good run for Auto Owners. That's for sure. So I'm going to pull up the rest here. First car out is Kyle Larson.
So he's 11th then.
He
Interesting.
is 11th on the board. Yep. William Byron is 14th. I
I
want
don't
to
feel good
say
about them.
I want to say he'll do better, but they were bad last year in this
Yeah.
race. They
They were
got
so
into the
bad.
Final Four by the skin of their teeth.
I really feel like that 2014 too has been out to lunch the past few weeks in general.
Absolutely.
So like, I don't have any hope that they'll turn it around at one race unless they just plow through everyone physically and mentally.
See, like here, I'm keep going with Larson. I keep going back and forth. Like a lot of me is saying I was convinced Harvick was making the Final Four in 2020, and he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It has the same vibe.
I've got a bad feeling for Larson this week. However, he was also on he'll probably get in, but he better be careful at Bristol. And look what he did.
Well,
And Martinsville's one of those tracks where Hendrick, if they need it that bad, they'll bring a car that'll lead 499 of 500 laps.
my concern with Larson, though, is they have constantly been behind the 8 ball. They have had to play catch up every single race this round. They had a rough start. They've had a rough start to every single round of the playoffs, and then they finish it out strong. This could be on the same track. I don't know. But I feel like the 24 tends to crumble under pressure, and we see the 5 car maintain resiliency for the most part to try to get a good finish. They're so close on points. And then it goes back to the question of, will we see a complete shutout? No Hendrick Motorsports drivers in the championship 4 after this race. I don't know. But with Larson being the first driver outside the projected top 10 and 11th, and he said William Byron's 14th.
William Byron is 14th. Yep.
It's going to be interesting.
6 starts. He has an average start of 14.5, average finish of 16.8. His best start is 11th 3 times. His best finish is 2nd. He has never led any laps in the fall race and has 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
So right there, I mean, that's another major thing there is like our leader in DNFs is Kyle Larson with 4, and William Byron is also at the top, outside the top 10 with 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
Something we haven't mentioned yet that we do need to take into consideration is Goodyear has also said they're bringing the soft compound tires again, or not the option tires, but those soft tires, like a softer compound that they said they have tested with and has shown good results. But
so
you know what happened?
If I remember correctly, the option tire at Richmond is going to be the right side tire.
Yes,
compound.
I couldn't remember exactly how the combination was, but thank you for that.
Yeah. So, and then for the Chris Buescher fans, he's 21st.
Oh,
out to lunch.
It's okay. It's all right.
And the Hail Melon is outlawed. If you remember,
out to lunch.
Yeah, the Hail Melon is outlawed. As a reminder to everybody, we will not be seeing any of that tomfoolery.
Is this the drivers' meeting?
Yeah. I'm Steve O'Donnell, Elton Sawyer, one of the two. By the way,
shoot your tires out.
Make sure you do not cross the commitment box getting into pit road. If you do, you will be penalized and have to start.
The new NASCAR rule is if you try that, we have an automatic kill switch from Command Center, and it will shut your car off.
That would be kind of sick, though, if you think about it.
It'd be cool.
Chastain is 16th on the board. Speaking of Ross.
Yeah. Okay. And no, Byron is good at Martinsville, at least in the spring. Of course, won this race in the spring for Hendrick's 40th anniversary. Big deal.
How you doing? Keep it moving.
Yeah, but the fall was a different beast. They haven't figured it out. So, all right, let's get into our predictions for this. This is where we'll just do this. No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
I don't like this.
Okay, we're good. Okay, let's get into our predictions.
Sorry to headphone users.
Who makes the championship let's start with the truck series. I'll give you a picture of the point situation and kind of like how things could shake out. So Grant Enfinger obviously locked into the championship 4 on wins the past 2 weeks. Then we have 3 vacant spots. But here's the thing. The point situation around the cutoff line is pretty drastic in terms of the points gap. So we have Corey Heim plus 49, Christian Eckes plus 38, Ty Majeski plus 22, which means Roger Carruth is minus 22, Taylor Gray minus 24, Tyler Ankrum and Nick Sanchez in must-win situations. My thought process is things stay exactly the same. The only one I think could disrupt that is Nick Sanchez. But even then, like the points gap is so large. Ty Majeski, everyone above that cutoff line is excellent at the short tracks. I think it's set, but I don't know about you all. What are your thoughts?
Sorry, I need to visualize this because I am not a speaker.
So
you could.
I mean, I think if Heim finishes stage 1, doesn't matter where he finishes. If he finishes stage 1, he's in.
Yeah. Yeah, Heim is okay. He's fine. He's good. Eckes
Yeah,
is
and then
fine. He should be good.
Eckes, if he finishes stage 2, he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sorry, no, you're good. I pulled up the Twitter graphic now, so it's really
I
helped.
want to say Ty Majeski.
Todd Majeski. I can't not think of that anytime I hear his name. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you who's not getting in. Sanchez or Ankrum. They're not getting in.
They would have to win. I just don't think.
And I have more faith in Raja Caruth than Taylor Gray to get in.
Yeah. Sorry, Rob.
No, I think all of America has more faith in Raja Caruth than Taylor Gray. No offense to Taylor. You're a good guy.
He will be in the Xfinity Series full-time next year.
Sure
as a reminder to us all.
Sorry, I'm visualizing this now.
I think what we have right now is our Champ 4, honestly.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think.
Like you said, it's a good one. It's a really good one.
It's strong.
Heim just has to start and he makes it in. Ickes just has to basically get a stage point in stage 1 and he makes it in. Majeski, he's the one in danger, but I think
this is one of his best tracks. And I mean,
he's a short track guy.
Yeah, he's a short track guy. So this is his to lose.
He's never won at Martinsville.
We're short track guys. Of course we win at short tracks.
2021, maybe he did.
I think it was. I think he did win.
No one heard me, and I thank God for that.
Maybe it was 22. I heard you.
Let me double check this. But yeah,
we're short track guys. Of course we don't win the championship.
Oh, I hated that trend so much. But also, I love
something to say that off stream. Yeah, no, this is a good championship for. You have Heim time. Top dog. You have 3 top dogs cycling the Truck Series, and then you have the old veteran who's really the underdog now at this point with a team that probably shouldn't necessarily be there that he's kind of putting on his back.
No Martinsville wins.
Yeah, Todd Majeski has no Martinsville wins. I'm sorry.
He's been close. He's gotten second places, 4th places. I mean, his averages at Martinsville are insane. But
the only way I see this playing out is if someone like Sanchez, if any of the back 4 really lose their minds and just start wrecking guys. And I don't like.
I don't see them doing that.
I look at that back 4 and I get wanting to win a title, but I don't see any of them doing that. Even though Nick Sanchez has threatened to kill a man.
This is true. God, what a throwback.
He was brutally assaulted by that man, mind you.
Yes. Folks, I'll be in the Chuckle Hut all night tonight. So yeah, this is more like this is your championship 4 unless just some unnatural circumstances come into play, which it is Halloween. So
yeah, so we will see. And then Noah's right. He has won Bristol, but there is not a Martinsville win attached to time.
I like that. I like that Rav jingle when we need a CD sponsorship for Majetski now.
We do. Oh my God. Bangers after bangers. Also, by the way, shout out to our friend on screen. Dom, your friend's had like really good analysis today.
He has. He really has.
He's done a really good job.
I disagree with all the Bowman takes, but other than that, I think it's been solid.
Yeah, it's been solid. All right, moving on to the Xfinity Series. Look at the point situation. It's a little different here. And there's multiple ways this could go based off of who's under that cutoff line. So obviously, Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger locked into the championship 4 based on wins the past 2 weeks. Then you have Justin Allgaier plus 35 and Cole Custer plus 28, which that's a great place to be in points. However, below the cutoff line, you have drivers like Chandler Smith. That is excellent at the short tracks. The JGR program at Martinsville in particular is phenomenal. Jesse Love, fine. Okay. Sam Mayer, as soon as you think he's knocked down, he gets back up. And then Sammy Smith. I think if you are Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer, you would feel comfortable, but you ultimately wouldn't be because look at how close those 2 are in points. If there is a new winner that is below that cutoff line, they are fighting for like mere points to make it in if this is as close as I think it's going to be. So interesting scenarios. Ben, what's your take?
I don't Sammy Smith's not going to win.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Plow someone over. Sam Mayer sounds like a musical artist name, and I just now realized that. But I don't think Sam Mayer's going to do it. Like, Sam Mayer is crazy enough to do something.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to do anything nonetheless. I think Jesse Love and the short track program at RCR is just not where it's at. Chandler Smith's going to be working in construction next year, apparently. So yeah, Noah's right. He's got nothing to lose except for like working in construction, man. So good for him.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is another one where I kind of feel like this is your final four. This is one of those races that I would take the field over those 5, 6, 7, 8 in points.
Interesting. So
I
you
think a
think
guy
we're not
outside
going
the
to see?
playoffs wins. Yeah,
I like that. Okay.
I think Sam Mayer wins the race. Cole Custer gets in on points.
Okay.
So you think Allgaier's out?
I think Allgaier's out.
That's fair. He's had a slumpy season.
He's had a slumpy season, but also a reminder too. I mean, obviously resiliency one year doesn't mean resiliency in another, but he won this race when he had to last year to make the championship because he was in a must win last year at that point. So obviously
and Sam Mayer's in a must win this year.
Well, that's true. Sam Mayer did it last year too. So at the Roval. So
I think Mayer's the one that does it, and it's at his teammates' expense.
He's the wild card one in this group that
he
could
is.
say screw it. I'm going to full send it.
For sure.
Out of all of them, and I could even maybe everyone's arguing Chandler in.
I think Chandler could.
I don't know. It's one of those things of you don't have a guaranteed ride. Why would you full send someone in the turn 3 that possibly could hire you for a job next year?
It's the emotion. It's where are you going to let your emotion of frustration with your uncertainty for 2025 take over just so you have a chance to fight for a championship this year? Is it worth it? And that's something Chandler Smith is going to have to decide in the moment if he's in that situation.
Is his headspace, I just need to make sure I have a job next year, or is his headspace,
screw it?
They can't not hire the defending champion.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But even then, we've seen drivers win championships and not have rides the next year. We've seen teams win championships and the next year they're toast. At the end of the day, at this point in the sport, and I know this is another tangent we could get on, but it is, do you have the funds or not? You could be the best driver in the world and hopefully a team will pick you up, and more likely they will.
Oh yeah.
But you need to have funding along with it to at least vouch for yourself. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Chandler Smith does at this point. So he might just gun for a championship. Dom, that's a good point. That might be his mentality. Or it's, you know what? I'm going to quote unquote play it safe and at least keep myself hireable. I don't know. So that's the Xfinity series kind of line up there. I think this will be a fun one with how close Allgaier and Custer are on points if there is a potential for an upset below the cutoff line. I think this race is more likely for an upset than the truck series is.
This is going to be a more chaotic event for sure.
I'm going to see this one in person. Adam's going to be there too. We are very excited for this. Because it should be really fun. Cup series, though, this is where things get pretty interesting, especially around that cutoff line. I wanted Christopher Bell plus 29 to the good, William Byron only plus 7, Kyle Larson minus 7. So the Hendrick drivers are going to duke it out. But then Denny Hamlin's not out of it either, only minus 18. And then Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott in must-win situations. We already went over the statistics from Dom's projected top 10. We know that Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott have won this race when they've had to before. Denny Hamlin is the winningest driver, or one of the winningest drivers at Martinsville that is currently active in the Cup Series field. Kyle Larson, I mean, he's decent at this track with the DNFs kind of rack up. And then William Byron struggled here last year, but he's good in the spring. So there's a lot of different storylines. What do you guys think? I have 2 ways I think this could go, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
I'm going to go based off my stats and say Denny wins. And I think 29 is going to be just enough.
Yeah.
For Bell, because obviously the number is going to change during the race.
Yes.
A Denny Hamlin win, obviously, because a Denny Hamlin win will obviously lock him up above Bell.
Mm-hmm.
So that would push Bell down. I think Bell gets in barely, but I think Denny wins this race and Hendrick is locked out in the mother of all upsets.
I agree. I don't see this playing out any other way, in my opinion. I think Denny would most likely win his way in. I think the season's kind of shaking up to be that way, where we have 3 Toyotas, 1 Ford in the championship fight, no Chevys. I think that'd be insane, but I guess kind of on par with how this season has gone. The other thing I see is I don't think William Byron gets in. If anything, I think Larson just is able to barely get in if we are just doing it on points alone and not on a potential new winner. I think Denny was going to have to win his way, and I don't see him getting on just points alone, even though he's pretty close. Oh,
All right.
okay.
Here's my take.
Okay.
Bell will not make it.
Oh,
Bell's not going to make it. Something's going to happen. I don't know why. Something's telling me Bell's not going to make it. Obviously, we got the 45, the 22 are locked in. 22 got locked in because, apparently the 48 cheated, but
Don't make me violate my
whatever.
parole. You are driving me crazy.
anyway, no. I think Byron's going to do very well this weekend, but I have, the 22, 45, the 24, and the 11.
I will say before the playoffs started and I made my championship 4, I had Reddick, Bell, Byron, and Larson. And at this point, it looks like I will be 3 for 4 in that, or maybe only 2 for 4. But I have Bell as my champion. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, see, I did have Bell as a champion, and I still do. Like, at work, we have, like, some type of thing going on. But, like Dom said, something's going to happen. Like, he thinks something's going to happen to Larson, right? Because
I was going to ask, like, what is it that puts Byron above Bell?
Yeah.
I just think he did so good in the spring. I know it's a totally different race.
Well, I mean, no, it's Hendrick. I mean,
but,
their track record is incredible. So it could definitely happen again.
But I just think something's going to happen with Bell. Like, I think he 100% deserves to be in the championship 4. And if he gets in there, like, good for him. That would be great. But, like, just my opinion, I just think something's going to happen. I think the 11's going to win.
It's not far-fetched.
And
it's not.
It's going to be in. So.
The key thing to look at with this race is who is really good at managing their tires. You have to think about, Denny Hamlin, I think, is good at managing his tires, but we know Kyle Larson's decent at that as well. I know Blaney's not because we have that softer tire compound on the right. So it might come down to that, even if not just mistakes. Denny Hamlin's pit crew has also been mistake prone. That could bite him in the butt.
Were you listening to Speedway when they were talking about the weather for this weekend? Because they were saying, like, if it's it's supposed to be a certain temperature there, which could lead to tire fall off.
Yeah.
I don't
remember what temperature.
Because that would jump right into Hamlin's wheelhouse if it gets really slick and they have to protect the rubber.
Yeah.
So that's just one more thing that's on his end.
Martinsville, Virginia on Sunday.
I asked. So they're giving Martinsville to be a warmer for November. It's 66 degrees.
I love the Yellow Line's chief meteorologist, Siri.
Hey, man. My hands are full.
I gotcha.
He's waiting on the bench. He's got to be ready to go.
Well, 66 degrees isn't that hot, though.
No.
It's not that hot, but like it's warmer than expected. I feel like for this time of year in the Virginias in winter or fall.
And it also depends on if that option tire wears like it did at Richmond.
Yeah,
that's true.
So in my I was looking back at my championship 4. In my championship 4 going to Phoenix, I had Larson, Blaney, Byron, and Reddick. Obviously, one of those is incorrect.
What was it again?
Larson, Blaney, Byron, Reddick. So
you didn't listen to the trends.
I did not because we know the beef. Well, I also had Truex going. I also had Truex going to the round of 8. So I'll drink my Kool-Aid later tonight, kids. So obviously Reddick is there. I think I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna be like my Hail Mary. I think Blaney wins this race.
Oh, you think he repeats like last year?
I think he repeats because
they have a good short track package.
They
got a good short track package, and I've not seen someone who wants to win as bad as he does.
This is true.
I think about him at Phoenix last year when he was, and I'm going to use a bad word again, so $2 in the swear jar. When he was bitching out Ross Chastain for air blocking him when he was winning the title still, and he was pissed about Ross. I think about that. I think about last week at Homestead where it sounded like he was so pissed off he was about to cry.
Yeah.
And I think about that emotion. I think about that team and what he did last year there. I think he repeats. I think he winks it in. I think Byron falls out, and I think Bell, like you said earlier, barely squeaks in. Mm-hmm. I think it's by the skin of his teeth by it's all said and done.
I can get behind that because last week at Homestead, Logano talked about how they were going to put Blaney's setup in his car and just use that in all of practice to just send them all their notes. It's like, this is a throwaway race for us, so let us help you.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they do that at Martinsville again. And look how good Blaney was.
Yeah.
You've got 2 cars worth of notes. So
I think fully too.
I can see it happening.
Yeah, I think fully too. Every Ford team is going to be trying to help that 12 car because that's the one Ford left to try and make it in.
Yeah.
I think wholesale, the RFK teams go in on it too.
I mean, and you've seen of any manufacturer this season that I can think of, I think Ford has worked together phenomenally within the teams and as a group. You think of like Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher. Brad, even last year, was pushing Chris to the victory a lot of the times. He was like, I'm going to be a good team owner, a good teammate. I know I can't do it. I would rather push my teammate to the win than wreck us both out. Ryan Blaney is typically in that same position as well, where he's like, I'm not going to wreck us both out or one of us out. I'm going to push you to the win. It's how Joey got in. So at this point, let's return the favor, maybe, 1. But 2, I think it's very beneficial that Joey Logano is going to be running the setup for practice to give him extra notes. And he's already locked into the championship 4. If anything, Joey can help him out, if possible, and as much as he can. Cindric, I mean, sure, maybe he can help. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is the best place for Blaney to be in as the sole Ford that is still in the round of 8 that is yet to get locked in. There's going to be a lot of helping hands there. So
I think Blaney, like he did say earlier this week, like he did lose some sleep over that finish at Homestead. And like, I think he may want this race more than he wanted that championship last year.
Oh yeah. I think so too.
Chance to defend his title. That is something that has been rare in the past few years of NASCAR to be back-to-back title winner. He wants to be able to do it.
Yeah.
We see these drivers with championship slumps, and the regular season for Blaney was looking pretty good. I mean, he was, in my opinion, not even opinion-wise, but statistically, the best Ford in the early part of the year. And then just things kind of fell off. And then, of course, the playoffs for Blaney have been up and down, to say the least. But to be able to defend your title and to be so close and knowing what you were able to do at Martinsville last year, I mean, he's hungry for a win. They could do it.
Yeah.
Everything just has to be right in their hands.
I think it's okay. I thought Dom was laughing for some reason, and I wanted to share. I think it's crazy, and I feel like we probably almost say this every year with the championship 4 and the championship, the round of 8 going into the championship 4. I think it's crazy how stacked the round of 8 has been, and how I would argue in any other year you could take that bottom 4 in points 5 through 8, they could be the final 4.
Yeah.
Any other year. Like, it's crazy how stacked it is. And all of them have, every single car that's out has the argument that they could totally be in that championship 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is. And I think about last year when like the Penske 12 kind of threw everything in the kitchen sink at them, and it stuck and they won. And I think about every one of those guys is going to do it. And it's going to be just like Homestead, I feel like, where every single car is going to throw a Hail Mary and throw it all at the wall to see what sticks and have a good time with it. So.
The fear of that, though, is that something's got to give.
Oh, it will inevitably. But like they have no choice now. It's like it's like we've got to we've got to pull the goalie now. We've got to get out there and try and score to tie it up or take it to OT if we can. So
if you want a shot at the title, you'll get your shot, but it's going to be in a steel cage.
So it'll be fun.
Dude.
This will be a really fun race weekend. But you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of ATYL. Before we go, obviously it is Halloween. So first off, happy Halloween. Second, it is the last day of Dysautonomia Awareness Month. You all know this entire month we've been trying to raise awareness for Dysautonomia, talking about Dysautonomia International selling. Let me find the hats. Ooh. These hats on the website just try to raise money for Dysautonomia International. So thank you all so much for helping show support for not only myself, but the entire community with Dysautonomia. It means a lot to me personally. These hats are still on sale until midnight tonight. So make sure you get them. All proceeds go to Dysautonomia International. We've raised over $200 from hats alone, which is awesome. And way more over on our socials, which is cool. So excited to get that to Dysautonomia International from you all. So thank you so much. But that is it. It is going to be a fun weekend of racing. I cannot believe it, guys. We have 2 races left in the year and then we're done. Like, this is insane. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this episode of the Above the Line live. The the Above the Line live show. Of course, make sure to go to tobychristie.com for all of your NASCAR news. Go to Racing America as well for all your NASCAR news. And of course, go to abovetheline.com to learn more about us, what we're doing. I will say in 2 weeks, we are making some really big announcements on the show. You do not want to miss it. So make sure to tune in every single week as we start to drop some more announcements there. And obviously have our end of the year banquet show on the 14th where we will be announcing big news. I cannot talk, I swear. Last but not least, follow us on social media. All our handles are on the page. I will retweet Matt's handle just as a thanks for Matt. We appreciate you joining the show. It was really fun to have you here. But yeah, I will let Ben continue practicing. Hopefully he gets off the bench. Dom is going to take a 5, resting after the big game.
This is exhausting, Taylor. Hurry, please. I'm dying over here.
And I'm gonna let Matt take a rest from the mask. But thank you all so much again. Happy Halloween! And if you're at the track